My name is Sohee, I'm 24 years old, and I moved to Germany from Korea in search of myself. I recently moved to a different city in Germany, and everything sort of feels like a new chapter in my life. I don't know anyone here, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with my life. I live alone, and I'm also an introvert. I was ready to reinvent myself and work on my habits and goals. I got quite ambitious, as always, and built this 6-month goal board to have a daily visual reminder and prioritize my tasks. I wanted to wake up at 5 a.m, eat until full, not stuffed like a jacket potato, and finally speak German with some confidence. 11:30 Nein, S-O-H-E-E. Tschüss. Something big was missing though. I needed to get out there and meet new people. I don't want to go. I'll just stay for like an hour. Just 1 hour.
Hier Consulting. No, okay.
That night, I thought about that lady I met. She was the first person I spoke to in this city. The 2 guys who sat next to me worked in finance. It felt so odd introducing myself and talking about work. I felt like everybody could tell that I'm just a student freshly entering society. When I was alone, when I was planning and setting up these cardboard goals, anything felt possible. But when I got myself out there in a crowd, talking to strangers, I found myself feeling really small. As the days went by, I began to feel more tired than usual, and I slowly started to neglect my healthy habits and goals. When I make my videos, obviously it's through a certain narrative, and I edit out a lot of things and I don't film everything. But I really want to put this in where I don't like the way I look, I don't like the way I feel or my body or anything. I don't care if you skip this part of the video. I always think like, oh, the video has to be short and like it has to be perfect. I only want to put the happy endings. To be honest, it's not always like this. But you wouldn't be watching this video if I didn't eventually get out of that rut. It was something very small that helped me get out of this place and feel better. And I finally understood why I created this cycle of getting hyped up, being all ambitious, trying and getting burnt out and falling into a rut. When I say small, it doesn't mean easy. It's just small, which is often overlooked and taken for granted, right? When we are in a state full of negative thoughts and self-criticism, it feels almost impossible to change our thoughts and be more rational. This is when we can try and create something called a corrective experience. When it's difficult to change how we think because of our emotions, then we can create an experience. It can be small, but it has the ability to completely obliterate our biased assumptions and help us find balance again. And this was my corrective experience after isolating myself for 4 days. I knew logically that going outside would just make me feel better, but I kept thinking, people will know how I've been treating myself, and just felt too ashamed to step outside. I put on a big jumper and took my plastic bottles to the supermarket. And there it was, a corrective experience. People had no idea who I was. If you find yourself stuck in a rut right now, create a corrective experience. What is something that I usually do without fear, but feels extremely hard right now? What is the first step that could get me there? This really doesn't have to be anything big. It can literally be taking a shower, stepping outside for literally 30 seconds, washing your face, the tiniest micro movements. After going through several corrective experiences, I finally sat down and journaled and tried to ask myself why I always found myself in this cycle. The reason was because I was always operating from a place of guilt. I find it very easy to take a break when I suffer from normal things like a breakup, a lost pet, or even just a cold. I allow myself in these times to rest, and sometimes I think that pain needs to look a certain way. But I found that the most courageous thing I can do for myself is recognizing that this thing that I'm dealing with is difficult. If you're suffering, please don't compare pain and deny your own. It's valid.